Hi there, Chingir here, and today I want to talk about one question that I've been asked a lot. How do you get attention of the hiring team? You post a job, so many applicants, 100, 200 applicants, right? And how do you get them? First of all, I'm not going to talk about how. I'm not going to talk about should. I'm not going to talk about any prescription. I'm going to talk about what I would do, right? And then again, probably sharing with you the very foundational principles of how you would exercise your own common sense in order to go about this job application or securing that role. So jot it down here on my phone, 15 steps for you. Step number one, study the job description thoroughly, right? It's written for a reason, and it's written by the hiring manager themselves. Yes, of course, right? In a way, in many ways, sometimes it is affected by personal biases. They are cloning a top performer on the team, or they want to find someone like ourselves, someone like themselves. And this is the bias. We want to see people who are like ourselves. I'll be honest with you, right? When people say like, oh, you're in talent acquisition, you should be unbiased. I'm a very biased person. I'm an extremely biased person. And the bias I'm looking for are my own personal biases. Bias to action, bias to get things done, bias to operate at an extremely high level, bias to excellence, right? And bias to self-awareness, bias to remove your ego from the equation and get things done and enable other people, bias to service to others, right? All these kind of things. Again, it's not about me. It's about just the very nature of biases. Be aware that people who are hiring, they have their own set of biases when they are in the process. But study the job description. It's written for a reason. And again, this is another reason why resume doesn't open all doors. It's like having one key to open all doors. There's no universal key, right? This is why you need to customize your resume, because resume is that key that should be tailored specifically to each specific door, each specific organization, and each specific hiring team and manager. Step number two, reverse engineer the job description. And that requires some intelligence, but this helps you to discern what is that perfect candidate profile that they have in mind. Not ideally, it's very hard to do from the paper, but it's possible at least to get into that area of what are they looking for. If you progress into the conversation and you get to the interview stage, right, you work with us, work with talent partners, have a conversation and complete the picture, understand, hey, what is the perfect candidate profile? And then as you go, you learn how to calibrate and readjust and create that perception that you are that perfect candidate, or at least have a potential to be. And that's precisely step number three. Build your resume in a way that would communicate that narrative that you are the perfect candidate or have the potential to be that perfect candidate. Step four, important with all this automation that's happening, ChatGPT, do not lean on that stuff, right? People who know how to use tools, they're the intelligent ones. People who think that tools should do the work for them, they're just fools with tools, right? So put some thought into your application. Do not lean on automation entirely. You can insert the job description into ChatGPT and say like, hey, speed it out. Like, what is the perfect candidate profile based on this job description? Right. Okay. But read through it or put the job description in and say like, hey, speed out some 15 interview questions based on this job description, what kind of things they will be asking. Translate every bullet in this job description into an interview question. These are the prompts that you can use, right? But at the same time, exercise common sense, because tools without common sense, they're useless. Step five, apply online, right? With your again, I would apply online with my tailored resume. And again, people talk about, I have the whole video about networking versus resume application. Most of the jobs, they're closed with resume applications, right? Because there is a candidate who applied. Step six, include a cover letter, right? Or a pitch. And when I say cover letter, I had a video about cover letters. I'm probably gonna shoot more about on that topic, but again, cover letters, not your archaic versions of like 2 pages of here is why I'm an amazing person for this role. No one reads that stuff. And first thing, no one's gonna read your cover letter if the resume is not relevant. So focus on the resume. If the resume is relevant, they might take a look at the cover letter. If they look at the cover letter, it should be scannable. We spend 5-6 seconds on the resume. How much time do you think we're gonna spend on cover letter? 3 paragraphs, 3 lines basically. Why are you interested? What do you bring to the table? Right? And I don't know, something a little bit that will create a perception of who you are. If they're looking for, I don't know, data analyst with 5 years of experience, I'm a data analyst with 5 years of experience. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I can bring to the table, right? And no one can teach you creativity. These kind of creative hooks, copywriting, written communication, how to grab people's attention through persuasive writing, you can only learn it from practice, right? And you can write one line, but it will be so powerful that it will catch people's attention. And again, there's nothing that I can prescribe here, but I can give you some examples, right? Why you would be a great candidate for this role? Or I was insert a place for like pitch, right? Here's an opportunity to pitch yourself. Like, what is not on your resume that you want to share? And one candidate wrote, I run 7 days a week and I read 60 books last year. That's all, right? That's just one simple line, but it tells me so much. Discipline, hunger for learning, right? And there is some kind of process to the madness. And this is the systemic and systematic type of thinking, right? That's what I want to see. I want to see originality. No one can teach you originality. There is no way to prescribe originality. Another example, and I've hired account executives, and while I was sourcing, I found that person, and she was amazing, but not because of the candidate she was, but I really remembered her about me section where she was talking. When I was in the interview process for my role, right? They said like, we're not gonna get your job. In order to get this job, you will need to knock my socks off. That's what the VP of sales told her at that time. And what did she do? She said she went to the store, she bought him a pair of socks, she put it on the table, and she left him a card with a note. This is for the next time I will knock your socks off. That's a freaking cool story, and she's using it as an attention grabber in her LinkedIn profile. But at the same time, there's a bullet list of her quota hit 180, 200%, right? Being a top performer, she tells a cool story, but she also has the substance to support her argument behind it, right? Here's a couple of examples of hook. We can continue this topic for a very long time, but study hooks, study copywriting, study storytelling, or don't, right? That's your choice. Step 7, calibrating your LinkedIn profile. I would calibrate my LinkedIn profile in order to create that perception. Everything in the hiring process is perception engineering. Your resume must engineer the perception that you're that professional. Your LinkedIn profile is your e-commerce store. You're selling a product. That product is you. If within 2 seconds people don't understand what you're selling, they're out. 2 seconds. That's how much you have to engineer that perception. Everyone will tell you job hunting is dating. What is dating? You come in and first impression, right? What people use right now these days, Tinder, right? That's your LinkedIn profile, your resume. First perception is not even verbal communication. You just look on the paper and you're like, do I like this person or I don't like this person? The next step is phone interview. That's your phone first, either a phone date or I don't know, a Zoom call date. And that's, I think, like how young people should approach dating, right? Build a funnel, right? And approach it as a talent acquisition process. Top of the funnel, and then phone screen, and then first round in the coffee shop, 30 minutes, and then or 60 minutes. And then who doesn't pass all these rounds, they don't progress further. Not how many people approach relationships, to be honest. We digress. Step 8. I would try to identify and connect and pitch to the business partners directly. Who are the decision makers, right? I'm the decision maker. I'm the gatekeeper for the company as a talent acquisition partner. But then there is hiring manager, and then there is team. Team can be very involved in the decision process as well. They can be either in the interview process, or there could be a referral system that you can leverage. If they love you, right, they will go to their team and they will say, hey, I met this amazing person, right? This is something you can leverage. We will talk more about how to communicate, how to approach, but you can check my website. I've wrote the whole networking guide. This is something could help you maybe. Step 9. Again, be thoughtful about the communication, right? Whether you approach talent partner, whether you approach a hiring manager, whether you approach your future potential teammate, communication will be different. We can talk about it in another video. Step 11, I would continue building my personal brand, right? I don't believe in the very concept of personal brands. And brand is for stuff. People have reputation. Your reputation is the ultimate currency, right? That's the guiding principle that I'm using, because cash is the king, maybe. Reputation is the ultimate currency. For example, some opportunities, they will change your life just because of you gonna be in the same room with people and working and having the opportunity to deliver for people of a caliber that, you know, in the future, when these people will come into the room before you and say like that you're the real deal, you will not need any kind of resume. You will not need any kind of networking, right? Just because the right people of the right caliber will come there and they will vouch for you and they will engineer the perception before you enter the room. So think about it. 12. Build relationships with people inside the company. As I said, not just people who are involved in the process specifically, not just TA, not just HM, not just your potential team. All the other people. It will give you and provide you valuable insight. What's the team dynamics? Tell me and help you to understand the holistic sort of view of the business. Tell me about your part of the business. Tell me about your role. Tell me about why you joined. And now that you've joined, you've been there for a year. Do you like it or not? What do you love? What would you change? Right? All that stuff that you can ask. 13, excuse me. 13 is the foundational piece, right? Seek to serve. Seek to serve. Give more than you take. Most people, they have this transactional type of mentality. Like, I'm here, give me. Who are you? I don't know you. Why would I give you stuff? That's just the common sense, right? Like, think from the perspective of another person. They have no idea who are you. They have no idea what you can do and what you can offer. Why would they get out of their way in order to do something for you? You need to pay it forward. You need to invest, or you don't, right? I don't. This is not something I will prescribe. This is something is in you or it's not in you. If it's your philosophical stance and this is how you see the world, this is because of the way you are. And if you don't understand that being selfless is the most selfish thing that you can do, probably more understanding, more digging needs to take place. 14, leverage your existing network. Again, for people who've just, like myself back in the days, like being a newcomer, right? Like I came into the country back in October 2019, right? And had 0 people. 0 people on LinkedIn, 0 people in connections. No, I knew nobody, right? And again, it's not something you should be doing. It's not something like, hey, find what works for you. It's an opportunity to self-reflect, right? Like, is that something that is the path for you? Okay, if it is, it's already in you, and you will find a way to make it work, right? Network doesn't happen by accident, right? Like, building a reputation is like farming, right? At first, people will be, okay, who are you? And then they will start listening. And if you have something of substance to say, they will stop more often to listen. And then they will reach out and they will say, you know what? You do have something of substance to say. And I love your stuff and I love your work. And let's connect and let's be friends. and let's nurture this friendship over the years. Let's play long-term games with long-term people, right? Last one, continue generating opportunities until you have, not only even like until you've signed the offer, until you join the company. And because, and it can be on the business side and it can be on candidate side. I had candidates who signed, they were super excited, yeah, and they didn't join right before the day one. And it can happen at any level. I'm not saying like it's only at junior level what you would expect, less professionalism. It can happen up to the C level, up to the executive level, where people sign the contracts and they don't join. And on the other side, businesses do the thing too, right? They've different types of scenarios, right? But they rescind offers, and that's just the reality, right? You can join the company and then you have a probation of 90 days and things can go wrong, right? They sell you one opportunity, you join, and the reality within the company is not the one that they've been selling, not the perception that they've been creating, or on the contrary, right? The person joins the company and they don't deliver. They've been singing good songs during the interview process, but if you have enough smarts, you can fool people in 3 hours of calls. But when it comes to actual delivery of work, that's where real stuff comes up. Anyways, this video has already been too long, right? I hope this process helps you, right? I'm not saying that this is something you should follow. I'm saying that this is something I would probably be doing. But again, what works for me, it works for me. It's not going to work for you. But it will give you an opportunity to think. So, #food for thought. Bon appetit. Bye.